everybody, my name is Tommy and today I'm going to tell you about what is photosynthesis. First, we're going to start off with learning about each of the things that I have in the pictures that I have drawn out. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next of all, I'm going to tell you about the process of photosynthesis. And last of all, we're going to review. First, this picture. Here you could see that when a candle is lit, then a plant or a leaf gets out oxygen. Here you can see oxygen, and when we don't light a candle, then that leaf will get out carbon dioxide. This investigation or particular examination was done by San Jose in 1778. Next, here we have a process of carbon dioxide and electrons turning into glucose. Okay, so imagine you have a rock and a slumped rock. A rock that likes this and a rock that is like this. You rub the first rock on a piece of plaster. It gains electrons. And then you put it in a pot of boiling water. Then it will gain electrons, more electrons, and gain carbon dioxide. Then put it to the normal rock, which is a bit slumped in the middle. Place them together so that they fit. And then you see, these two mix together and go through a zip to the slumped rock as glucose. How do we know inside the slumped rock there was glucose? Well, first we get this slumped rock and we put it like the first rock in a pot of boiling water. Then the glucose or temporary sugar, which is a food for plants, will go into the pot. You can still eat that sugar or drink it, okay? Then after about 10 to 15 minutes, you get some scissors or even some professional tools to get out the slumped rock. Then you pour the boiling water into a cup. Wait it to cool down and drink it. If you feel a slightly sweet sort of thickness or a sweet sort of scent inside that water, then you are tasting glucose. Next, for these two equations. First, CO2 plus electrons equals glucose plus oxygen. So what is CO2? Well, CO2 or O2 is actually, CO2 or O2 is the carbon dioxide. So it should be carbon dioxide plus electrons equals glucose plus oxygen. Next, this one is a bit more complicated. Hope you understand it. ATPS plus ATP equals ATPH. Or we could say it backwards. ATPH, as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 balls connected together, equals ATP, which are 3 balls connected together into a line, and ATPS, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 balls connected into a plus sign. So it is actually L plus E equals L equals I plus plus. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's actually really important to the forming of glucose that I just said. So now we're going to zoom out and zoom in again to move on with the process of photosynthesis. So I'm going to have a 3, 2, 1 rate for you to organize yourself, and you could just pause the video to have some sort of break. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay, so hi everybody again. Now we're going to talk about the process of photosynthesis. So let's erase these reluctant equations. Erase some part of the glucose thing so we can have some space for the drawings of the photosynthesis. There you go. I think this is enough space. San Jose and another part which isn't here. Okay, so let's begin the process of photosynthesis. Here you see the process of photosynthesis. First, it starts with the sun rising. Here, sunrise. And in front of the sun is, not really in front, but it's kind of opposite, is a plant. Just say it as a sunflower, okay? There. So now, when the sun rises, this flower receives sunlight. Here in the next picture is inside the leaves of the flower, or I call under, here. So under the leaves of the flower, there are drops of water from anything last night. There you go. Drops of water. So after those drops of water occur, do you know what happens? Here inside the leaves, like the forming of glucose, we have a slumped something and another oval-like something. So the oval-like thing has, carbon dioxide and electrons. And it will go into the slump-like thing to create glucose. And the electrons come from the sun. And the carbon dioxide comes from the air around us. It will use the sunlight and carbon dioxide that it finds to create food. Its food is glucose, a type of sugar that I said. After it is eaten, the glucose, the rest, the parts of the glucose that the plant doesn't need, travel down the stem to the roots, which dissolve into the earth and then create modern earth or dirt again. You see, the prospect, or the process of photosynthesis is really interesting. 5 steps. Sunrise and the plant gets sunlight. Then water goes out because it loses water every day. Then it will suck in sunlight and carbon dioxide from the air. And they will form into glucose. The fifth one is the unused glucose will be going down to the roots and will be made into dirt. Decomposers decompose the glucose into dirt. That was very interesting. Now let's review. Professor San Jose discovered that when candle is lit, plant releases oxygen, and when a candle is not lit, a plant releases carbon dioxide. We have a slumped rock and a normal rock. We put the normal rock that has carbon dioxide and electrons into the slumped rock, which is transformed together into glucose. Next of all, the equation APTS plus APT equals APTH. And the other equation, which is carbon dioxide plus electrons equals glucose plus oxygen. You see, very interesting in our lesson. See you next time with the next lesson of amazing science.